Let me tell you about Doris, a 70-year-old billionaire who built the Bean Bliss coffee empire from the ground up. She's the kind of woman who could buy half of New York City with a single check, but lately, she's been thinking about slowing down. Retirement's calling her name, and she's dreaming of quiet days, maybe even spoiling some grandkids with overpriced toys and too much candy. But there's one thing nagging at her: her nephew, Ethan. He's 32, sharp as a tack, and the guy who turned Bean Bliss into a billion-dollar brand. Problem is, he's still single, and Doris isn't about to hand over her legacy to a guy who can't even find a decent date. Ethan's not your average CEO, though. He's not flashing his wealth or posing for magazines. Most people in his own company wouldn't recognize him if he walked by. That's because he's got this habit of going undercover. Right now, he's out there pretending to be Eddie, a regular delivery guy, pedaling around on a bike, dropping off coffee beans to his own stores. He's not doing it for fun. He wants to see what's really going on when the big boss isn't around. Are the employees slacking off? Are the customers happy? He's got his eyes peeled, taking mental notes, all while nobody suspects the guy in the faded hoodie is the one signing their paychecks. Doris, though, she's got her own game plan. One day, she's sitting in her fancy penthouse, sipping a ridiculously expensive cappuccino, and she thinks, enough is enough. Ethan's not going to find a wife on his own. I'll do it for him. So she digs out an old apron, slips into some worn-out sneakers, and walks into the flagship Bean Bliss store in New York City. She's not there as Doris Brooks, the billionaire founder. She's Dottie, the new barista. Imagine that. A woman worth billions, fumbling with a coffee machine, trying not to spill grounds all over herself, just to play matchmaker. She's not exactly a natural at it either. At 70, her hands aren't as steady as they used to be, and she's grumbling under her breath about how coffee was simpler back in the day. The younger staff barely notice her at first, except to smirk when she takes too long steaming milk. They think she's just some sweet old lady who wandered in looking for a job. But Doris isn't there to master espresso shots or impress anyone with latte art. She's on a mission. She wants to find a girl for Ethan, someone who will see past the money and love him for who he is. Someone with a good heart, a sharp mind, maybe a little grit, and she's betting she'll spot her right here in the chaos of the coffee shop. Ethan's out there somewhere zipping through traffic with a delivery bag slung over his shoulder, completely clueless about his aunt's scheme. He's focused on keeping his cover, making sure nobody figures out Eddie is actually the guy who owns the whole operation. Doris, meanwhile, is wiping down counters, watching every employee like a hawk, waiting for the right moment. Neither of them knows it yet, but this little undercover adventure is about to brew up something huge. A love story, a pile of drama, and a twist that'll flip everything upside down. One cup of coffee is all it's going to take to change the Bean Bliss empire forever. Want to know how? Well, let's keep going. This is just the start. So, Doris is officially in the game. She's standing behind the counter at the Bean Bliss flagship store in New York, her apron tied a little crooked, trying to figure out how to work the espresso machine without looking like she's never seen one before. It's her first day as Dottie, the barista, and let's just say it's not going smoothly. She's 70, okay? She's used to boardrooms and private jets, not steaming milk for a line of impatient caffeine addicts. Coffee grounds are spilling everywhere, and she's muttering stuff like, "Why do these buttons have to be so tiny?" The younger staff barely give her a second glance at first. They're too busy flirting with customers or texting under the counter, but it doesn't take long for a few of them to start snickering. One girl, a 20-something with a nose ring and a permanent smirk, leans over to her friend and says, "Who hired Grandma? She's gonna slow us down all day." Doris hears it, but she keeps her head down, wiping the counter like she's been doing it her whole life. She's not here to argue, she's here to watch. Then there's this moment that changes everything. Doris is fiddling with her old watch. It's one of those cheap-looking ones she dug out of a drawer to sell her cover, and it slips off her wrist, clattering onto the floor. The same smirky girl picks it up, holds it like it's contagious, and laughs. "Oh my God, is this supposed to be a Rolex? What a fake! Where'd you get this, lady, the thrift store?" Her little clique joins in, pointing and giggling like it's the funniest thing they've seen all week. Doris just shrugs, calm as can be, and says, "It keeps time, doesn't it?" That's all I need, but inside she's taking notes. These girls, They're shallow, loud, and definitely not what she's looking for in a wife for Ethan. She's about to brush it off when someone steps in, and that's when Olivia enters the picture. Olivia's 27, a shift leader at the shop, and the kind of person who doesn't mess around. She's got this energy, quick on her feet, always juggling 3 things at once, but she's got a heart too. She's been watching this whole scene unfold from the register, and she's not having it. She marches over, hands on her hips, and says, "Hey, knock it off." She's just trying to do her job. "What's your problem?" The smirky girl rolls her eyes and fires back. "Oh, come on, Olivia, look at her. That watch? She's pretending to be something she's not." Olivia doesn't even blink. "And you're pretending to be nice, but we all see through that. Leave her alone and get back to work." The group mutters something snarky and scatters, but not before tossing Doris a few more dirty looks. Olivia turns to her, softens a bit, and says, "You okay, Dottie? Don't let them get to you. They're just bored." Doris nods, giving her a small, knowing smile. "Thanks, dear. You're a good one." And in her head, she's thinking, well, this girl's got guts and kindness. Could she be it? Meanwhile, Ethan's rolling up to the shop on his delivery bike, his hoodie pulled low. He's Eddie today, hauling a stack of coffee bean bags through the back door. He's been doing this gig for weeks, blending in with the crew, listening to the gossip, checking the vibe. He's not expecting much, just another drop-off. But as he steps inside, he catches the tail end of Olivia's standoff with the mean girls. He sees her standing there, fierce but fair, making sure Doris is okay. Ethan doesn't say anything, just unloads the bags and keeps his head down, but he's intrigued. There's something about Olivia, her no-nonsense attitude, the way she doesn't let the nonsense slide. He's not the only one watching either. Doris clocks the whole thing from her spot behind the counter, and she notices how Ethan lingers a little longer than usual, stealing glances at Olivia while she's ringing up a customer. Olivia doesn't even notice Ethan, or Eddie, at first. She's too busy keeping the shop running, shouting orders over the hiss of the steam wands, making sure nobody's slacking. But Doris, she's already connecting the dots. She's thinking, this girl's special. She's not afraid to stand up for what's right, and she's got a spark Ethan could use in his life. Doris doesn't say a word, just keeps scrubbing that counter. But her mind's racing. She's been around long enough to know a good match when she sees one, and Olivia's just jumped to the top of her list. Ethan, still clueless about his aunt's mission, finishes his delivery and heads out, but not before Olivia calls after him, "Hey, new guy, don't leave the bags in the walkway next time." He grins under his hood and nods, thinking, "She's sharp, I like that." Doris watches him go, her eyes twinkling. She's got a feeling something's brewing here, and it's not just the coffee. She's already imagining Ethan and Olivia together, wondering how she can nudge them closer without blowing her cover. But she knows it's early days. She's got to be patient, keep observing, see if Olivia's really the one. For now, she's just Dottie, the barista who can't quite get the foam right, waiting for the perfect moment to stir the pot. And trust me, things are about to heat up fast. So Doris is quietly scheming behind the counter, but Ethan's starting to stir things up on his own, without even knowing it. A few days after that little showdown with the mean girls, he's back at the flagship Bean Bliss store, still playing Eddie the delivery guy. This time, though, the manager throws him a curveball. They're short-staffed for the evening shift, and instead of just dropping off beans and bolting, Ethan gets roped into sticking around. "Hey, Eddie," the manager calls out, "you're on bar with Olivia tonight. Don't screw it up." Ethan's not thrilled. He's supposed to be keeping a low profile, but he shrugs it off and grabs an apron. What's the worst that could happen? Olivia's already there, running the show like she owns the place. She's got her hair pulled back, a pencil tucked behind her ear, and she's barking orders over the hum of the espresso machines. 2 oat lattes, extra shot, and don't skimp on the foam, she yells to a barista, then spins around to see Ethan fumbling with his apron strings. She raises an eyebrow. "You're the delivery guy, right? What's with the apron?" Ethan grins, a little sheepish. "Guess I'm your backup tonight. Don't worry, I've watched enough baristas to fake it." Olivia smirks. "We'll see about that. Just don't spill anything on me, okay?" There's a spark in her voice. Not mean, just playful. And Ethan's already hooked. They get to work and it's chaos from the jump. The evening rush hits hard. Customers lining up out the door, orders piling up, the whole place buzzing like a beehive. Ethan's out of his depth, steaming milk too hot or pouring shots that look more like mud than espresso. Olivia's right there, though, jumping in to fix his messes without missing a beat. "Here, like this," she says, grabbing his wrist to guide the pitcher, her hand brushing his for half a second. Ethan's heart does a little flip, but he plays it cool. "Thanks. Guess I owe you one." She laughs. "You owe me about 10 by now, rookie." It's easy between them, like they've been working together for years, not minutes. As the night wears on, the crowd thins out and they finally get a breather. Olivia's wiping down the counter and Ethan's stacking cups when she starts talking, not just small talk, but real stuff. "So, Eddie, what's your deal? You don't strike me as the delivery guy for life type." Ethan hesitates, careful not to blow his cover. "I don't know. I like moving around, seeing how things work. What about you? You're pretty good at this. Why stick with coffee?" Olivia leans against the counter, staring at the ceiling like she's thinking hard. "It's not really about the coffee. I mean, I like it fine, but this job's been my lifeline. A couple years back, my ex, he was a real piece of work. Cheated on me with my roommate. Left me with nothing but a pile of bills and a broken lease. I started here to pay the rent and now, I don't know, I kind of love it. Keeps me busy." Ethan's quiet for a second, taking it in. "That guy sounds like an idiot. You're better off." Olivia snorts. "Yeah, took me a while to figure that out. Now I'm done with guys who lie. I'd rather grind here than deal with that again." There's an edge to her voice, but also this strength that hits Ethan right in the chest. He's about to say something when she switches gears. "Anyway, enough about me. You ever thought about doing more than deliveries? You're not half bad at this." Ethan chuckles. "Maybe. I like learning from people who know what they're doing, like you." She blushes, just a little, and waves him off. "Flattery won't get you out of cleaning the grinder, Eddie." Doris is watching all this from the sidelines, pretending to mop the floor in the back. She's been keeping tabs on Ethan's shifts, and tonight she's got a front row seat to their chemistry. Every time Olivia laughs at one of Ethan's dumb jokes, or he sneaks a look at her while she's pouring a latte, Doris's grin gets wider. They're clicking, she whispers to herself, leaning on her mop like it's a cane. This could be it. She's already picturing them together. Ethan in a tux, Olivia in a white dress, maybe a little bean bliss wedding with coffee instead of champagne. But she knows it's not that simple, yet. She's got to let it play out. Then there's Mia. She shows up near the end of the shift, strutting in like she owns the place. Mia's Olivia's best friend, 27, loud, and a little too nosy for her own good. She's got this vibe like she's always sizing people up, and when she spots Ethan behind the counter, her radar goes off. "Liv, who's this?" she asks, nodding at Ethan like he's a stray dog. Olivia shrugs. "Eddie, new guy, he's cool." Mia crosses her arms, eyeing him up and down. "Cool, huh? Looks like trouble to me. You sure he's not some broke loser sniffing around for a free coffee?" Ethan bristles but keeps it light. "I pay for my own drinks, thanks." Mia smirks. "Sure you do. Just watch yourself, delivery boy. Olivia's too good for scrubs." Olivia rolls her eyes. "Mia, chill. He's fine." But Mia's not convinced. She's got this protective streak and Ethan's on her watch list now. The shift ends, and Ethan's biking off into the night, replaying the whole thing in his head. Olivia's laugh, her story, the way she handled the rush, it's all stuck with him. He's not just curious anymore. He's into her. Back at the shop, Olivia's locking up, thinking about how easy it was to talk to Eddie. She's not looking for anything, she's been burned too many times. But there's something about him that feels different. Doris, meanwhile, is hanging up her apron, her mind racing. She's seen enough tonight to know Olivia's got potential. Smart, tough, kind, the whole package. And Ethan, he's smitten, even if he won't admit it yet. But Mia's lurking in the background, and Doris catches a vibe she doesn't like. There's tension brewing, and it's not just about burnt coffee beans. Doris knows she's got to keep an eye on this, because if she's right about Olivia, things are about to get a lot more complicated. Ethan's falling, Olivia's opening up, and the Bean Bliss empire might just be in for a shakeup nobody saw coming. Things are heating up at Bean Bliss, and not just because the espresso machines are running overtime. Ethan and Olivia have been working more shifts together, and it's starting to feel like something real. They're tossing jokes back and forth, finishing each other's sentences, even staying late to brainstorm ways to boost sales. Olivia's got this idea for a new cold brew flavor, something with caramel and a hint of spice, and Ethan's all in, nodding like it's the best thing he's ever heard. "You should pitch it to corporate," he says one night, wiping down the counter while she counts the till. She laughs. "Yeah, right. Like they'd listen to me. I'm just a shift leader." Ethan smirks, knowing full well he could greenlight it in a heartbeat, but he keeps quiet. "You never know," he says instead. "You've got good instincts." She looks at him funny, like she's trying to figure him out, but she just shrugs and keeps counting. Doris is loving every second of this. She's still Dottie the barista, shuffling around with her mop or pretending to struggle with a milk steamer, but her eyes are sharp. She catches every glance Ethan throws Olivia's way. Every time Olivia smiles a little too long at one of his dumb puns, she's thinking, this is it. They're perfect. She's already mentally planning how to nudge them closer. Maybe a little accident that leaves them stuck in the storage room together, or some fake emergency that forces them to team up. But before she can pull any strings, trouble walks in, and its name is Mia. Mia's been popping by the shop more often, and she's not subtle about it. She's got this protective streak over Olivia. Fair enough, they've been best friends since high school, but it's starting to cross a line. She doesn't trust Ethan or Eddie as she knows him, and she's not shy about saying it. One afternoon, she's leaning on the counter while Olivia's ringing up a customer, and she spots Ethan restocking the pastry case. "Still hanging around, huh?" she says, loud enough for half the shop to hear. "What's your deal, delivery boy? Trying to charm your way into a promotion?" Ethan brushes it off with a grin. "Just doing my job, Mia. No ulterior motives here." But Mia's not buying it. She pulls Olivia aside later and lays into her. "Liv, seriously, watch out for that guy. He's too smooth. Probably broke and looking for a sugar mama," Olivia sighs. "He's harmless, Mia. Lay off him." But Mia's not letting it go. She's got a bad feeling and it's only getting worse. Then it all blows up. A few days later, the shop's cash drawer comes up short, $50 missing after a busy morning shift. Mia's there when it happens and she jumps on it like a shark smelling blood. "I knew it," she says, pointing at Ethan while Olivia's double-checking the receipts. "It's gotta be him. Who else would sneak around like that?" Ethan's stunned. "Me? I don't even touch the register." But Mia's already spreading the word, whispering to the other baristas, planting seeds of doubt. By the end of the day, half the staff side-eyeing him, and the manager's talking about an investigation. Olivia's caught in the middle. She doesn't believe Ethan did it, but the rumors are loud, and she's starting to wonder. "Eddie, just tell me the truth," she says quietly when they're alone. "Did you take it?" He looks her dead in the eye. "No, I swear, I'd never do that to you, or anyone." She nods, wanting to trust him, but there's a flicker of doubt she can't shake. Doris catches wind of this mess and she's furious. She's mopping near the break room when she overhears Mia bragging about catching the thief. Doris knows Ethan's innocent. He's got more money than the whole shop makes in a year, but she can't blow her cover yet. She starts poking around, asking casual questions, watching the staff like a hawk. It doesn't take her long to figure out Mia's behind it. She saw her lingering by the register earlier, fiddling with something when no one was looking. Doris doesn't have proof yet, but she's got a hunch. Mia's not just jealous. She's up to something bigger. She decides to keep quiet for now, let it play out. But she's ready to step in if things get uglier. Ethan's not sitting still either. He's ticked off. Nobody calls him a thief, even if they don't know he's the CEO. After his shift, he pulls the manager aside and says, "Check the security footage. I want this cleared up." The manager agrees, but it'll take a day to pull the tapes. In the meantime, Ethan's stuck with the whispers and the dirty looks. He's starting to realize this undercover thing's backfiring. He can't defend himself without spilling the truth, and he's not ready to do that yet, not when he's just getting close to Olivia. The breaking point comes a few nights later. Ethan's been planning to ask Olivia out. Nothing big, just dinner after work. He's nervous, rehearsing it in his head all day, and he finally catches her alone while they're closing up. "Hey, Liv, you free tomorrow night? I was thinking we could grab a bite somewhere." She smiles, surprised but pleased. "Yeah, that sounds nice." He's about to seal the deal when his phone buzzes, a text from Olivia, saying, "Sorry, Eddie, something came up. Rain check?" He stares at it confused because she's right there, locking the front door. "You just text me?" he asks. She frowns, pulling out her phone. "No, why?" They compare screens and it hits them. Someone's messing with them. Across town, Mia's smirking at her phone, thinking she's killed their date in its tracks. She's not just protective anymore, she's outright sabotaging Olivia. And she's not done yet. Doris, who's been watching Mia like a fox, catches her slipping out of the shop with a smug look. She's piecing it together now, and she's not happy. Ethan and Olivia are onto something real, but Mia's throwing wrenches left and right. The cash theft, the fake text, it's all piling up, and the air's thick with tension. Doris knows she's got to act soon, but she's waiting for the right moment. Ethan's fuming, Olivia's rattled, and the whole Bean Bliss crew's about to get a wake-up call they'll never forget. The tension at Bean Bliss is thick enough to cut with a butter knife. Ethan's still reeling from that fake text. Someone's playing games and it's messing with his head. He's pretty sure it's Mia, but he's got no proof, and Olivia's starting to look at him like she's not sure what to believe anymore. The missing cash, the whispers about him being a thief, and now this? It's a lot, even for a guy who runs a billion-dollar company in his sleep. He's been trying to keep his cool as Eddie, the delivery guy, but it's getting harder every day. Olivia's keeping her distance, not cold, just cautious, and it's killing him. He knows he's falling for her, and he thought she felt something too, but now it's all slipping through his fingers. Doris isn't sitting idle, though. She's been watching Mia like a hawk, and she's got a gut feeling that girl's up to more than just petty jealousy. She's seen her hovering around the register too many times, heard her stirring the pot with the other baristas, and that smug little smirk after the fake text incident. Doris knows trouble when she smells it. She's still Dottie, the barista, shuffling around with her mop, but her mind's sharp as ever. She's tempted to confront Mia herself, but she holds back. She wants Ethan to handle this his way, at least until it's time for her to step in. For now, she's gathering ammo, waiting for the perfect moment to turn the tables. Ethan's had enough. The next morning, the shop's buzzing with its usual chaos, but there's an edge to it. Everyone's whispering about the cash drama, and half the staff still throwing him shady looks. He's done playing nice. He marches into the manager's office and says, "Those security tapes ready yet? I'm not letting this hang over me another day." The manager nods, looking stressed. "Just got them, let's watch." They huddle around a grainy screen, fast-forwarding through hours of footage, until there it is. Mia, clear as day, slipping her hand into the cash drawer during a quiet moment, pocketing the $50, then walking off like nothing happened. Ethan's jaw tightens. That's it, she's done. The manager's stunned. Mia? She's been here forever. Why would she? Ethan cuts him off. Doesn't matter. I want her gone, but first I'm clearing this up. My way. He calls an all-staff meeting that afternoon. Everyone's crammed into the back room. Baristas, cashiers, even the part-timers who barely show up. Olivia's there, arms crossed, looking uneasy. Mia's leaning against the wall, smirking like she's untouchable. Doris is in the corner, pretending to fiddle with a coffee filter, but her eyes are locked on the scene. Ethan steps up, hoodie still on, and takes a deep breath. "All right, listen up," he says, his voice steady but loud enough to hush the chatter. "There's been a lot of talk lately, about me, about the cash, about who's trustworthy around here. I'm done with it. Time for the truth." The room goes dead quiet. He pulls off his hood, runs a hand through his hair, and drops the bomb. "I'm not Eddie, the delivery guy. I'm Ethan Brooks, CEO of Bean Bliss. I've been working here undercover to see how this place really runs." You could hear a pin drop. Jaws hit the floor, eyes bug out, and Mia's smirk vanishes like smoke. Olivia's staring at him, her face a mix of shock and something else. Hurt, maybe? Ethan keeps going. "I didn't steal anything. The footage proves it was Mia. She framed me, and I'm guessing she's the one who sent that fake text, too." He locks eyes with Olivia. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, Liv. I wanted you to know me, the real me, before all this CEO stuff got in the way. I'm in love with you, and that's why I'm standing here now." The room erupts gasps, whispers, a few "no ways" from the back. Mia's turning red, stammering, "This is ridiculous, he's lying." But the manager steps in with the footage on his phone, and there's no denying it. Mia's caught, and she knows it. Before anyone can process that, Doris steps forward. She tosses her apron onto a table, straightens up, and says, "Well, I suppose I'm done pretending too." The staff's heads whip around. "Dottie?" Someone squeaks. Doris smiles, a little wickedly. "Not Dottie. Doris Brooks, Ethan's aunt, and the woman who started this whole company. I've been here playing barista to find someone worthy of my nephew. And Olivia, dear, you're it. Olivia's speechless, her eyes darting between Ethan and Doris. But Doris isn't done. She turns to Mia, who's shrinking by the second. And you, young lady, what's your excuse? Framing an innocent man? Sabotaging your best friend? Explain yourself. Here's the twist. Mia cracks. She throws her hands up and yells, fine. I'm his cousin. Ethan's my cousin, okay? I've been testing Olivia to see if she's good enough for him. The room's a circus now. Everyone's shouting, pointing, trying to wrap their heads around it. Ethan's floored. Cousin? Mia, what the hell? Mia's voice shakes. Yeah, I'm your mom's sister's kid. I didn't tell you because I wanted to keep an eye on things myself. Olivia's my best friend. I had to make sure she wasn't just another gold digger chasing your money. The cash, the text. It was all a test. She passed, didn't she? Olivia's fuming. A test? You almost ruined my life over a test. Mia looks down. I'm sorry, Liv. I love you both. Ethan's head is spinning, but he pulls it together. He walks over to Olivia, who's still processing this insanity, and takes her hand. Liv, I didn't know about any of this. Doris's plan, Mia being family, none of it. I've been a mess trying to figure out how to tell you who I am. I get it if you're mad, but I meant what I said. I love you, and I'm done hiding. He pulls a small box from his pocket, flips it open, and there's a ring. A simple silver band with a tiny coffee bean charm. Marry me. Not because of Doris, not because of the company, just because it's us. Olivia's eyes well up. She's mad, confused, but she looks at him, really looks, and sees the guy she's been falling for all along. You're an idiot, Ethan Brooks, she says, voice cracking. But yeah, I'll marry you. Doris claps her hands, beaming like she just won the lottery. That's my girl. Knew you had it in you. The staff's still buzzing, half of them cheering, half of them whispering about Mia, who's slinking toward the door. Ethan pulls Olivia into a hug, and she lets herself melt into it, the ring slipping onto her finger like it was always meant to be there. Doris winks at them, thinking, mission accomplished, but the drama's not over yet. Mia's apology hangs in the air, and there's a wedding to plan. This little coffee shop's about to serve up a whole lot more than caffeine. After that wild showdown at Bean Bliss, things settle down, well, as much as they can when a billionaire CEO and his undercover aunt just flip the whole shop upside down. Ethan's back in his corner office, no more hoodie and delivery bike, but he's still the same guy Olivia fell for. She's got that coffee bean ring on her finger, and they're planning a wedding, nothing extravagant, just something simple and real. They picked the original Bean Bliss store, the little hole in the wall where it all started, because that's where their story brewed. Doris, of course, is over the moon. She's retired now, officially done pretending to steam milk, but she's calling herself the wedding consultant, which mostly means bossing everyone around and sneaking extra pastries into the menu. The big day rolls around, and it's perfect in its own messy way. The shop's closed to customers, strung up with fairy lights and coffee-scented candles. Olivia's in a white sundress, nothing fancy, just her. And Ethan's in a crisp suit, grinning like a kid who got away with something. Mia's there too, patched things up with Olivia after a long, teary talk. She's the maid of honor, a little sheepish but happy to be included. I was a jerk, she admits to Olivia before the ceremony, handing her a bouquet of wildflowers. But you're family now, for real. Olivia hugs her tight. Yeah, you're stuck with me. The staff's all there, the ones who didn't get fired in the Mia fallout, and they're clapping and whistling as Ethan and Olivia say their vows. I promise to always tell you the truth, Ethan says, squeezing her hands. No more undercover crap, Olivia laughs, and I promise not to spill coffee on you too often. Doris gives a toast after, raising a mug of black coffee instead of champagne, to Ethan and Olivia. Proof that love's better when it's honest, and a good cup of coffee can change everything. Everyone cheers, and the party kicks off. Cake, music, the works. Ethan pulls Olivia aside later, out by the counter where they first teamed up. You happy? He asks, brushing a strand of hair from her face. She nods, leaning into him. Happier than I've ever been. You? He kisses her forehead. Same. Couldn't ask for more. A few weeks later, they're back at work. Ethan running the company, Olivia promoted to manager of the flagship store. The staffs learned their lesson. No more gossip or backstabbing, just a tighter crew who respect what they've built. Mia's even pitching in, helping with marketing ideas to make amends. Then one night, after a long shift, Olivia pulls Ethan aside, looking a little pale. "So, I've been feeling off," she says, biting her lip. "Took a test this morning. We're having a kid." Ethan's eyes go wide. Then he scoops her up, spinning her around until she's laughing and yelling at him to stop. "A kid? For real?" he says, grinning like an idiot. Guess Doris gets her wish. They tell Doris over dinner, and she nearly jumps out of her chair. "A baby! My great niece or nephew! I knew it!" She's already talking about baby-sized Bean Bliss aprons, and Ethan's just shaking his head, amused. Olivia's glowing, her hand resting on her stomach, and Ethan's arms around her, solid as ever. They've been through the ringer. Disguises, drama, a cousin with a weird way of showing love. But they came out stronger. Bean Bliss isn't just a coffee empire anymore. It's their family legacy, and it's only getting bigger. One little cup of coffee started it all, and now they're ready for whatever's next. Together.